Hey folks, today we're talking about bid-ask spread, what it means for you, what you need to know when you're buying stocks, and what your portfolio manager is likely thinking when he's purchasing stocks. I'm Rob Tatro from robtatro.com, head of the Tatro Wealth Advisory Group here at Canaccord Genuity Wealth Management. It brings me great joy to be here today, folks, to chat with you guys about this. Now, if you'd like to ask further questions on this or you're not exactly sure, please go to www.speaktorob.com. Be happy to book a no-obligation consultation to chat with you about bid-ask spread or investments or anything else that's on your mind. First of all, what's a bid? What's an ask? A bid is how much I am willing to pay for a specific share or a debenture or a bond. An ask is how much I would like to receive to sell my shares. The distance between the two, or the price between the two, is the spread, otherwise known as the bid-ask spread. Now, there will always be a spread, a posted spread, when you see the trade tickers or when you're Googling these stocks or when you're trying to pull them up on your phone or whatever app you use to track prices. The reason because if there is no spread, there is a trade that happens. As soon as the bid-ask spread goes to zero, that's a trade. Now, this happens hundreds of millions of times every single day across every single index and every single stock market across the entire face of the planet. When the bid and the ask are the same number, that's a trade. So the bid and the ask are typically going to be tighter, so we're going to have less of a spread, the larger the company is, and the more established the volume is, and the more established the company is historically. So if you have a very mature company where there's a ton of volume, a lot of people are buying and selling every day, you're typically going to have a tighter spread. The wider spreads typically happen on penny stocks or as a percentage of spread. The smaller the company, the less established, the more junior it is, the more the spread is likely to be as a percentage. Now, as a straight spread, that might not necessarily be the case. On the Berkshire Hathaway A shares, you might see a spread of several hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars because it's a very expensive share. And if you have a penny stock, you might have half a cent spread on the spread. But as a percentage of the value, the spread is typically less on more mature companies than more senior companies. So the spread exists. So if you're coming in and you want to just buy the stock, you don't care what you're paying, you're putting what's called a market order into the market. I'm putting a market order. That means I'm willing to pay whatever the ask is on the company for however many shares I need. Well, the spread will be moved to the top end of the ask range. You will effectively go right to the ask. And vice versa. If I want to sell a company, the same thing is going to happen. I'm going to go right to the bid, and I'm going to get effectively the bid, and the spread goes to zero on that case. So that happens with market orders. Now, if I want to tighten the spread, let's say there's a share listed at $10 for the bid, and the ask is at $10.10. Well, maybe I want to put a bid that's a little higher, so I want to tighten the spread. I might go $10.05 or $10.07. I want to get closer to the ask, I will tighten the spread. What sometimes happens in that case is that either a trade will be executed, someone will come fill the spread, they'll meet me effectively halfway and sell me some shares at that price, or you might even see a situation where the spread moves upwards. Now, this is also kind of important to know whenever you're looking at ETFs. So an ETF will typically have a market maker. So the market maker is the one who's effectively in charge of guaranteeing that the spread is relatively tight or reasonable given a specific stock. The ETF market maker, if there's large orders that come in, he will buy them, large orders to buy, he will take the other position of the trade and will either issue more shares by purchasing more securities or do the opposite. His or her job as market maker is to make sure that the ETFs are tightly priced within the spread. Now, the spread for most of you on a day-to-day basis, the spread is usually tight enough that for most companies, it's almost irrelevant. So most of you are likely not day trading, and if you are, well, good luck with that. Hopefully you don't lose your shirt. But if you're not day trading and you're just looking to take a position long-term in a company that you like, most of the times orders are placed at market. If you're actually not placing an order at market, you're likely going to tighten the spread, and you generally don't need to worry that much about spread for mature companies. Now, for kind of more junior companies, you're going to have to play the bid-ask spread game, which means sharpen your pencil by 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 cents, just to make sure that you're being the first. You want to be the first in line to get the bid, right? Now, it is a direct reflection of supply and demand. The more bids you have, the more demand there is, and the more ask you have, the more supply there is. And when that gets out of whack, that's when you see prices move either up dramatically or down dramatically. You've probably heard an expression called no bid. So no bid is a horrific term that some know in this ultra small cap or micro cap space where nobody is bidding for your stock. You actually have no bid, so you can't even sell it for 1 cent. So that's a horrific term. It's a terrible situation to be in, and it does happen with extremely small companies. And the spread is always going to be the difference between the highest price that the buyer is willing to pay for the lowest price that the seller is willing to accept. And the spread is typically going to also be a reflection of your transaction costs. So whatever you're paying in between there, if you're doing a lot of trading, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, you're actually going to end up losing the value of the spread on both sides of that purchase. And remember that the bid-ask spread, it measures market liquidity. The tighter your spread is, the more market liquidity you have. And also, there's generally a relation between the bid-ask spread and liquidity. Folks, it's a lot of stuff to digest. I'm incredibly passionate about this, and I'd love to chat more about you with this. If you'd like, go to www.speaktorob.com. Love to book a no-obligation consultation for you to chat with me about this or anything else that's on your mind. Great pleasure today to chat with you about bid-ask spread. My name is Rob Tatro from robtatro.com, head of the Tatro Wealth Advisor Group here at Canaccord Genuity Wealth Management. Thanks for tuning in today.